Hello, everybody, and welcome back to a brand new episode of our 2021 NR2003 NASCAR Cup Series season. Follow along with the real life schedule. Just a few hours ago, you were probably watching the All-Star Open leading into this race right here, Texas Motor Speedway All-Star Race 2021 under the lights. Now we are getting ready to take the green flag in a few moments' time. We saw Chase Briscoe race his way in. We saw Tyler Reddick, Ryan Preece as well, and we saw Matt DiBenedetto get in on the fan vote. JayCook, of course, joining here with me once again in the booth. Jay, very excited for this one. We just recorded the All-Star Open. We know from that alone it's going to be pretty crazy. Before we talk about that, though, I just want to really quickly mention how this format is going to be. We're following along closely as we can with the real life format. It says 101 laps on the top of your screen. We're not doing 101 laps. We are doing 70 laps. So we have 4 stages to start it, and each of those stages are 10 laps. So stage 1 ends on lap 11. Stage 2 ends on lap 21. 31 and 41 for the first 4 stages. Then we have a 20-lap stage for the 5th one, so that will come to a close at the end of lap 61. Then we have one final 10-lap dash to end this race, which will come to a close on lap 71, and that will be today's 2021 NR 2003 All-Star Race. But Jay, as I was mentioning, we saw what the racing was like in the All-Star Open. I think we are in for quite the show here tonight at Texas Motor Speedway.
I think we're in for a great show as well. With the racing was in the open, these guys get into a big pack. They're all kind of jumping together, kind of like Las Vegas was. And these guys take it 3 wide, and then sometimes they take it 4 wide, and that results in calamity. But I'm fully expecting to see a lot of lead changes tonight. I'm fully expecting to see some of these guys towards the back be able to make their way up towards the front. And then, of course, I think we'll see our share of incidents as well. So I am looking forward to a very good All-Star race here.
And Joey Logano will be starting on the front row along with his teammate of Brad Keselowski. So, very excited to see. I mean, Jay, do you have an idea? I mean, obviously, we saw what the racing was like. It's going to be extremely hard to predict a winner, I think, even with 5 laps to go. But do you have an idea of who comes to mind that might find a way to stay out of trouble that we're likely going to see tonight and come out on top? I mean, we know Kyle Larson's fast. He's up here in the mix tonight. He could probably throw it away somehow. But who do you have in mind?
I mean, can you really go against Kyle Larson right now? He's so absolutely dominant, so fast in this season. So I think it's kind of hard to go against Kyle Larson. But then again, I mean, like you mentioned, it's kind of hard to choose a winner here, even if we had a restart with like 5 to go, just because of how wild this track is and how easily things can change here in a moment's notice.
And I think basing it off of the All-Star Open, I think the real question for us to ask each other is how many cars are going to be left at the end of this thing? Like,
Yeah,
I,
I think we're gonna have probably less than half the field.
I would not be surprised with that at all now, as these guys are not going to hesitate to go 3 wide. We're already seeing that with Kyle Larson, 3 wide in the middle between Keselowski and Blaney. I just saw a tiny bit of contact already as well between the 12 and the 5. Thank goodness that did not develop into anything. But so this first stage comes to a close, like I said, as soon as we hit this 11th lap of the race. So, not much racing going on here in stage 1, or not much time, I should say, to race here. Now, Chase Elliott goes to the lead, one of the drivers that in our 2003 season so far has been winless, but I'm already seeing some 4-wide action. This could go wrong very quick, and I think it will right there. Kyle Larson and Truex and the 14, the 18, the 1 car as well are going to be the first victims of the race here already. Alex Bowman gets a piece of it. I don't think he got damaged. The fan vote winner of DiBenedetto gets a piece of it, but he looks okay. And Jay, it took us 2 laps to wipe out a bunch of cars here today in Texas, which I think honestly was quicker than I think we were expecting.
A bit of a different race this time around for Larson too. Normally he dominates and then has problems, and on lap 2 he's already wrecking. I don't think he got a ton of damage compared to these other guys. He definitely has some damage. I think is going to affect him, but I think he'll still be okay. He might be able to be competitive still. Certainly not going to be enough to DNF him. But several of those cars, they're like Kurt Busch, some others as well. I think Martin Truex had a considerable amount of damage. Their nights to look to be done already on lap 2.
And, well, let's get a look at what just brought out the first caution of the day already here from Texas Motor Speedway. Here's a look from the overtop cam, 4 wide as usual. Does not work. Kyle Larson goes victim to it as the 10 came across him, and then they all just go crashing here. Very unfortunate for that 19. The 48 and the 21 didn't seem to get too much into it, so that was good for them. But yeah, I mean, a big incident to start this race where we already see, at least the 14 out, as you can see a bunch of smoke pouring out of that car. So unfortunate for these guys, but it's just the way it goes sometimes here in the NR 2003 series. Now getting ready to go back green here from Texas. Stage 1 already almost coming up to a close here now, as it'll just be about 4 laps of racing. I mean, it only took us 2 laps to crash that time, so they could very well do it again here with the time remaining. But Chase Elliott up front, there you see some of the guys that were part of that caution. So we do have some cars out now. The one car and the 19 and the 14, all three of those guys, Truex, Kurt Busch, and Chase Briscoe, already out of the All-Star race here. Briscoe literally just raced his way into this race, and now he is out on just the third lap of that event. So very unfortunate for him as we're getting ready to go back green with Chase Elliott leading the way. Jay, I mean, is there really a point to being so aggressive at this point in the race? I mean, I guess obviously it's just an exhibition race here for us, so it doesn't really matter, but still seems really early to be going that aggressive.
Yeah, it does seem pretty early. I mean, only on lap 2 of a 70-lap race. In a race where you can win so much money, I don't know why you want to be aggressive that early, but I think these guys are also kind of thinking, they got all the jitters about, that this race is so huge for their team, potentially if they can win that money. They got all these expectations going into it, and they probably got the nerves going into it as well. So they're probably driving a little bit out of their head, and then obviously that leads them to go aggressive on the initial start. And we see what happens when you do that. When you go 4 wide here, it's just not going to work. So I think we'll probably see them tone it down a little bit here, but I don't know if we're going to see it stay toned down for long.
Cole Custer there to the inside of the number 23 of Bubba Wallace. Bubba just got himself eligible just a few weeks ago to be in this race after his first career win with that 2311 team at the Coca-Cola 600. These guys got to be careful. We're only coming up on 2 laps to go in stage 1 anyways. So there's not much of a point to force it 4 wide, but right now I can just kind of, from what I'm seeing, it looks like Kyle Busch from that incident is going to be the odd one out that seems to be off the pace now. Is Almirola, he's kind of holding on. Larson's holding on at the very back, but not a whole lot of speed in that 5 car, so it's going to be a rough race for him. But I'm pretty confident there's still going to be a lot of calamity before this race comes to a close. Now, as we are approaching this final lap already in this first stage, so we got 3 more of these right after, though, of just 10-lap shootouts here, as Keselowski leads the way to start the final lap. And there we go, bring in the caution command, and here we go as they go down into turns 1. Newman up here in the mix, Jay. I mean, I don't even know. We were trying to dissect how he was eligible for this race. I honestly don't know, but I mean, nonetheless, he's up here having a pretty solid run now. As Bowman, he's in need of a great run, Jay, like this. I mean, why couldn't he do this and show up in the regular season and have a run like this?
Yeah, this is what we need to see him do in all of our points paying races, and he hasn't really shown that so far this season at all. But here in stage 1, he's already showing that he's going to be competitive tonight. And I mean, I guess that's just what happens when you have $1 million on the line.
So stage 1 comes to a close already. 1 of 6 down. So we got 3 more of 10 laps. Then we have 1 20-lap stage, and then we'll have that final 10-lap dash. So I don't know if these guys are going to come into the pit lane here. We're going to keep an eye on that real quick. It doesn't really matter if they do. Obviously, there's no points on the line. So actually, we're just going to go to a quick break and come back and bring you guys to the start of the second stage, which the first stage, these caution laps, we are going to let eat into the other stages. So this stage will still come to a close on the end of lap 21. So that might also help kind of keep the chaos a bit lower here in the early part of this race, which should be a good thing. So we'll be right back and get you guys going for the start of stage 2. Welcome back here from Texas Motor Speedway, getting ready to go green for the start of stage 2. So it's actually only going to be a 6-lap scrap here to determine what happens now. So like you said, it should keep the chaos to a minimum, hopefully here, and we won't wipe out half of the field. But I mean, Jay, I mean, obviously every single year as they get back going underway, it feels like every single year they completely just change the format. And honestly, I remember quite a while back, Brad Keselowski came up with the format. It was really confusing and stuff, but honestly, this format this year in real life is one of the most confusing things I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, this is confusing is really the best way to describe it. it's a format of wackiness, and it's really like I can get behind some of the other stuff in NASCAR's chosen for specific race formats and how the season long format is and all that kind of stuff. But this one, this one for the All Star race is just it is wacky. It doesn't make much sense. You kind of have to be a mathematician to know it and to understand anything going on behind it. It's not going to be easy for any kind of casual fan to understand what the heck is happening. And it may even be too confusing, or not too confusing, but it may be confusing for the commentators to kind of relay to us during the races. There's some contact there with Alex Bowman, but yeah, I don't really get the reasoning behind the format, because it doesn't seem like it's going to be that good of a format to me. It just seems like it's kind of throwing a whole bunch of numbers around and hoping something works.
Yeah, it's very confusing to say the least. I would have much rather them have tried something with the racing product. I mean, they technically are with lowering horsepower and stuff, but I mean, we've seen them last year with the number placement, and then they put the lights, the underglow on the car. I thought that was kind of neat at Bristol Motor Speedway. Actually, I remember that race. Honestly, it wasn't a great race in my opinion, but there was that one year where they tried the different tire compounds and didn't really make a difference either. But I thought that was really cool. So I think we should be instead of messing with the format and the lap counts and stuff, let's just mess with the racing product instead and just see what kind of crazy race we can put on. Of course, with keeping it still appropriate and safe for the competitors on the track there. As we go down into turns one, there's already only 2 laps to go here in the second stage. And so far, yeah, the chaos has been kept to a minimum. We got some good action going on here as Ryan Blaney looks to the inside of Denny Hamlin. But I mean, Jay, we're seeing now that 5 car of Larson struggle. It looks like that damage that he got there in that early crash is going to be with him for the rest of this race. Is now, I think the only thing he can rely on is other people having some incidents here.
Yeah, it certainly does seem like that is affecting his performance so far. But also he could be thinking about taking it easy because he got involved in a crash on lap 2. You can't win this race on lap 20, so no point in trying to be too aggressive. So that could be also his thinking as well. Who knows? He could still have that same car he had earlier. He's just trying to take it easy right now.
And 3 wide as they come through turn 3 and out of 4 for the final lap here. It's going to be, though, Kevin Harvick coming through down the front straightaway. He wins the second stage. Means absolutely nothing, but he does it anyways. And the caution comes out. This time we kept it green the whole way through. There was some less laps, of course, making it a lot more doable there. So caution comes out. These guys might come into the pit lane here and take 4 tires potentially now, as they have run 21 laps. Nobody elected to pit there at the end of that first stage, so we are going to keep an eye on it this time around, though. 20 laps is a considerable amount of time on tires at Texas Motor Speedway. Of course, they did have that fresh repave. I mean, Jay, we can agree. I mean, this track in real life is not the right track for the All-Star race, but obviously they did this so we could get COTA on the schedule. So we kind of accept it in that fact, but we can definitely both agree, though, this track is, in real life, a terrible place for the All-Star race.
Yeah, I don't think it's a great choice for the All Star race in a lot of ways. Number one being obviously the on track product is just not great at all, and then I know the market in Texas used to be great, but I think it's kind of suffering lately. And then you used to, if you when you held it in Charlotte, it was NASCAR Central. You went there for more than just the All Star race. You went there to go to visit the team places. You could maybe see the drivers hanging around at the shops throughout the week and all that kind of stuff. It was just a whole different big thing. You were there also for the 600 the week after or the week before. I can't remember when the All Star race used to line up with the 600, but you were there for one big thing, and you had the opportunity to go around and just see everything NASCAR. And I think that they kind of need to move it back to Charlotte, and then they also need to bring back some of the things they used to do as well, like the pit crew challenge and all that kind of stuff. I think we've gotten to the point now where the All Star race has went from being a fun race and a thing everybody can look forward to, in a week of fun, cool stuff everybody can look forward to a race where now you're just like, okay, this isn't going to be that great, and we got a confusing format to deal with. Why are we having this? So I think NASCAR really needs to reconsider what they're doing with the All Star race. But for this one year, I will accept it because it got us COTA, and I really enjoyed having a race at COTA.
There you have it. I pretty much agree with everything you just said right there. We're going to go to another quick break and bring you guys to the start of this third stage for yet another 10-lap dash here from Texas Motor Speedway. Welcome back again from Texas Motor Speedway for the 2021 NASCAR Cup Series All-Star Race. getting ready to go for this third segment, which comes to a close at the end of lap 30, hitting lap 31. So once again, it'll be basically 6 laps of racing, and that'll set us up for the longest segment after another 10 laps, and that'll be a 20-lap sprint, which will come to a close at the end of lap 61. But back underway here from Texas Motor Speedway. Jay, we've been talking about the All-Star race, of course, a lot in this day here, because I mean, it is All-Star Day. I mean, when you think of past All-Star races, is there any one that stands out to you? I know the one that stands out for me is always the 2009 All-Star race. Like, I felt like that was one of the best ones I have ever watched. I don't know if you might not even have been watching at that point, if I'm correct, right?
Yeah, that's right. I wasn't really watching NASCAR until 2011, late in 2011, and then I didn't really start paying attention to see an All-Star race until 2012. So none in particular comes to mind. I think the 2012 one is probably my most memorable, with Jimmy Johnson winning it. I remember that All-Star race being pretty decent, but I can't really think of any others that I would say were just fantastic All-Star races.
Yeah, I mean the 2009 one was the one where that was the very first one I watched too. It was the first year I was watching NASCAR legitimately. But that was the one where Jeff Gordon, I remember, it was 3 wide with Newman and Kyle Busch with about 10 laps to go, and they all came together, and Gordon went sliding through the grass and then came back up, crashed into the wall. But overall, the racing was just downright great. We had, I think it was Tony Stewart who won that race there when he passed Matt Kenseth really late in that. So it was a great race overall. And then, of course, I mean, we've had some highlights from All-Star races in the past. I remember Clint Boyer throwing a bunch of punches at Ryan Newman a couple years back from Charlotte when they got into it. And then there's always some moment that's memorable. I'm trying to think here of ones like what was it, 2018? I think when NASCAR really gave us that more lower horsepower package and the high downforce, and we saw like a really big pack race. And honestly, Jay, it's almost kind of like what we're seeing here in NR.
Yeah, it is very much a pack race tonight in Texas. It's These guys are all very close. They're all draft is something that's playing
Oh,
a
oh, oh,
huge deal
oh,
into this race. There's another wreck.
oh! Custer and Hamlin, they might keep it green. They might keep it green, actually. Wow, they're gonna have damage, of course, but their cars kept going in the right direction. No caution, as you were saying, Jay. I mean, yeah, I mean, it's pretty much the exact same thing that we saw that one year in Charlotte.
Yeah, and these guys tonight are just all in a pack together. We've seen that create some incidents already. These guys they can go 3 wide, they can go 4 wide, but if you see 4 wide, that's usually going to end in an incident. But yeah, being in a pack tonight is certainly going to be the story of the race, and it's going to be what happens the entire race.
Cole Custer bringing it down the pit lane there. Not surprised by that. So we have a bit of a 3-car breakaway after that. Elliott, Logano, as well as Alex Bowman leading the way. So unfortunate right there. By the way, this I forgot to get the command in. So can I get the command in time is the real question for the final lap. That flew by really quick, but we do get it in at the last moment there. So Chase Elliott is the third segment winner there. We got talking a lot, so I didn't even realize that the laps were going by. So Chase Elliott wins the third segment, and that means we have one more 10 lapper to go, or a 6 lapper, and then we have the 20, and then the last 10. So we're going to go to a quick break once again, and then bring you guys back in time for the start of this third segment. Welcome back from Texas Motor Speedway once again, getting ready to go for the fourth 10-lap segment. I think it is at this point. We went to 10, then we went to 20, then yes, we went to 31, now to 41, and then we'll be having the longest segment of the night after this. Even with our very straightforward, dumbed down format, it's even getting a little bit confusing to keep track of. So I can't even imagine what the All-Star race in real life is going to be like. That'll be airing, of course, the same night as this video. So keep out for that. But now underway. So Cole Custer, he's a lap down, or the last car on the lead lap, I should say. But he is, of course, now a lap down as Chase Elliott goes by on the inside. We're already going to be going 3 wide. That's a bit of a bad sign, I think. Here's we come through out of turns 2. But now, I mean, we look through the middle of the field. Jay, we've had some time to kind of see things settle out there, and it honestly looks like the 9 of Chase Elliott might be the class of the field so far. So I think him, maybe even Logano, I think are going to be the 2 guys to beat here.
I still don't know if I can choose a winner at this point, just because of how this race is and how this package is. with these guys staying together in a pack like they are, and then obviously being on the inside is such a huge advantage. Every single time we see a guy get to the lead, they wind up going to the high side on the back straightaway, and the guy in second place can just immediately dive to the inside and make a pass happen. So I don't know if we're going to be able to really call who we think is going to be or who's going to win this race. Honestly, and I don't think we're going to see the person who wins this race take the lead until off of turn 4.
And there you see the fan vote winner, Matt Benedetto. He got collected in an incident in the All Star Open. Actually, had a big crash. In real life, probably would not have been able to make the race after that. I don't think they would have got their car repaired in time. But here he is going for it now as he got the 24 of William Byron looking up his inside, coming to already just 3 to go in this fourth segment of this all-star race. Kyle Busch hanging on at the back of the pack. Hamlin looks like he's probably taken the biggest hit there. We saw him a part of that incident with Custer, and you can clearly see he is off the pace. So we got about 3 cars off the pace. And then we, of course, got 3 cars out of the race with the 1 of Kurt Busch, the 19 of Truex, and that 14 of the rookie of Chase Briscoe, who raced his way into this one. And what about the other guys that raced their way in? We got a guy like Ryan Preece up here in the mix right now. Tyler Reddick was up in the mix, but Preece, well, you know what? Preece ain't doing good anymore because he just went around crashing in the middle of the pack and a bunch of cars taken out. Benedetto gets a piece of it. Hamlin's into it again. Kyle Busch, Byron, the 3 of Austin Dillon, and Kyle Larson as well, potentially. But the commentator's curse comes in literally right as I'm bringing up the 37, doing a tremendous job here today. As now, Jay, I think that really just is a sign for us to stop talking sometimes.
Yeah, that's the second time that's happened tonight too. Both times, right as we mentioned, the driver doing good and missing incidents. All of a sudden, bam, they're collected, and both of them in big crashes. Of course, the first time was Chris Buescher. So yeah, we've cursed 2 people tonight, Gary.
And now we're going to get a look at that one. That was a big one. There's going to be quite a few guys out of the race, probably, or off the pace at least, after that one. You see some of the guys with damage coming in, like Ryan Blaney, definitely Ryan Preece. So apologies to Ryan Preece for talking good about you, because that ended up messing you over. So let's get a look at what brought out that caution. Reason for the caution once again here in Charlotte, or Texas Motor Speedway, I apologize. Bubba Wallace, Newman come together, they slide up into the 37, and Jay, one of the rare occurrences where we just see 3 wide not work.
Yeah, and they're coming off the corner and contact happens, and unfortunately Newman gets pushed into the side of Ryan Preece, and then Ryan Preece hooks Chastain, and all calamity breaks out. They just all start wrecking. There's nowhere for people to go. Of course, coming onto the front straightaway in the middle of the pack, and it winds up taking out a lot of good cars.
Back here, though, getting ready to go green this time by everybody's coming to the pit lane. That was also the end of the segment. The caution ran through to end that 4th segment. So Logano's out front. So now we have a 20-lap segment. It is. So in real life, they're doing 30. We're doing 20 for this kind of long one. And then that sets us up for the final 10-lap dash here at Texas Motor Speedway for the All-Star race here in 2021. Now, Jay, we just saw quite a few guys get taken out in that crash, but they still remain on track. Only guy that DNF'd was Ross Chastain. So, honestly, I mean, of course, this helps a guy like Kyle Larson, where he only got a tiny piece of that, and we talked about him needing these other drivers to have some issues. So, it might not be the end of the road for him. He might have a chance to somehow get up in here and mix it up and maybe even win this thing.
I also don't think we're going to see that change the way these guys drive. We're still going to see them be aggressive. And I still think we're going to probably see some more incidents. The only unfortunate thing is that we have these 2, William Byron and Denny Hamlin, still on track. They're probably going to be, or they're probably going to cause some issues. I assume we'll see them catch those drivers at least once this stage. I don't know if we'll see them be a factor in the final stage just because of how short it is. But hopefully, if they do catch them, they're not too much of an issue. But with these guys being in a pack like this, I'm sure they will affect somebody.
Yeah, just a comparison. Hamlin right now is 157 miles per hour, and I think that's what he's topping out at. Yes, down the front or back straightaway, still 157. While Joey Logano's going 181 down this front straightaway, 183, 184 even. So they're definitely going to get to Hamlin in this segment here because this segment doesn't end until we hit lap 61. So it's going to be interesting to see how they deal with that. A lot of single file trains here on the bottom so far, but then you see Benedetto look out to the inside now. As Jay, I mean, we've been surprised to honestly not see DiBenedetto get to victory lane yet in real life and as well in NR2003. He's run strong. But honestly, I mean, there's no better way to then get a huge boost of confidence than to win the All-Star race, but that will destroy someone's confidence right there. As the 23, the 18, the 41, they're all involved in an incident along with Alex Bowman. But that's got to at least boost Matt DiBenedetto's confidence knowing he's got less competition, right? Oh
Especially
boy,
considering it.
okay. I saw the
Oh, they're
24
all.
coming in there.
Yeah. But yeah, especially considering the 18 and the 48 just got taken out. Two of the stronger competitors of the night is Denny Hamlin. Arca breaks his way into Ryan Preece. And it's just calamity all around here tonight in the All-Star race.
And Kyle Busch has roof damage. I don't think he was on his roof, but he got hit so hard that he's got some roof damage. Caution out again. We're going to get another look at that one from Texas Motor Speedway. There you see right here, out of turns for Bubba Wallace and the 48. They kind of squeeze into each other, and then the 41 just goes around. Innocent bystander right there. 18 involved, and then actually just up ahead, you're going to see the 37 actually slam the 18 right there. And that really does Kyle Busch in the background. So unfortunate for those guys. Caution's out, and you saw the 24 and the 11 just zooming in there. Thought that was going to go wrong very quick, but fortunately there were some cars out of the way. But we're going to get ready to go back green once again here from Texas Motor Speedway. Back again, Texas Motor Speedway All-Star Race. Getting ready to go green for the 17th time, I think, here today. It is going to be about 11 laps to go in this supposed to be longest segment of the race, but if we keep having cautions, then it's just going to be a bunch of caution laps. But it'll be about 30 laps to go in the All-Star race total, I believe. Or sorry, 20 laps to go. As Joey Logano leads the field back to green now. As Jay, honestly looking like though Logano has been having a solid kind of command over the field, so he could very well be sticking out as the potential favorite, especially if we keep wrecking these cars.
Yeah, through all these cautions and stuff, he's been able to keep himself in the lead, and he's been able to keep himself out front of guys like Chase Elliott and now for the last several restarts, Cole Custer. So at the moment, Logano is looking pretty strong.
Oh,
well, there they
more
go
trouble.
again.
Oh, more trouble. Almirola involved. By the way, Cole Custer is a lap down. Hopefully no one does that right there. Oh my goodness. We got a massive incident. I was just about to say hopefully no one hits him. And before I could get the words out of my mouth, we just had an absolute disaster here in the Texas All-Star race. Go big or go home is being taken to the limit here in Texas. Wow, that was a big incident. We're going to go take another look at yet another crash, as it seems like the less cars we have, the more crashing we're having. I don't know how that works, but let's get a look. Out of turns for Ryan Newman just pretty much hooks the two of Brad Keselowski into the outside wall. Not a lot Brad could have done. It came down in front of the 10, but then it gets worse. You're going to see these guys just piling in. Oh, a big hit there. And then Ryan Newman almost up and over. A lot of cars involved. Very unfortunate right there, as it looks like Hamlin's going to be out, as well as the 6. I would expect the 37 and the 24 and the 2 as well, as the caution flies once again here from Texas Motor Speedway in the All-Star race. So after all that crashing, we never got that long stage of racing we were hoping for. So this 5th stage actually comes to a close right here. So we're just going to add a few extra laps of racing, and now it's going to be about a 10-lap dash legitimately for this final stage. So this All-Star race does come to a close when we hit lap 71. So it was just awkward timing right there with how it worked out. So yeah, I mean, the All-Star race comes to a close when we hit lap 71, racing it all the way through from here. Well, we might not be full-on racing because we might have another crash here, but now, I mean, Jay, we do not have many cars left. We have 12 cars left in the field. Do you have any picks now at this point? I mean, it's been narrowed down by about 50%.
I still think at this point, Joey Logano, he seems to have been the dominant car so far. We haven't had a long enough run for him to get past, honestly. So at this point, I think it's going to be Joey Logano.
I think DiBenedetto's been looking a little bit strong, too. I wouldn't fully count him out with these final 10 laps underway. I also would not count out another crash, but look at this. We got the 23 and the 10. They're quite significantly off the pace. So it's about 10 cars in this main pack right here. as you see Chase Elliott on the outside of Cole Custer into turn 3. Harvick kind of forces it up the inside of the 3. The 3 car doesn't even have a back bumper at this point now, as Logano's just trying to drive away and win this All-Star race here in 2021 in our NR 2003 series. 9 laps remain here in the All-Star race. So he's been doing a tremendous job commanding the field so far since he's gotten out front. Elliott, we know he's strong and even, Jay. I mean, we talked about Larson earlier in this race being involved in like the very first incident. We knew he was going to need some luck on his side to be in the mix, and now here he is running in the top 10.
He's had a good rebound so far. I still think that it may have been just a bit of him being conservative and trying to avoid all these incidents. And I mean, if that was his plan the whole time, that was smart, because there's been about 7 more wrecks since then. So I think that it was definitely a good plan. And of the cars left, even if he does have a bit of speed knocked out, I think he's got some of the best speed left, because we know how good that car is, and even with a little bit of damage, that car is very competitive.
Yeah, I mean, you see him now up into 4th place there as they come through out of turns 4. 12 and then 41, they got a little bit closer. That was a bit concerning for a moment, but just 7 laps to go in this 2021 All-Star race. Now Larson up to P3, following along with his teammate of Alex Bowman, but Harvick looks to force it up the inside right there. Now as Logano continues to lead the way now. Is it a pretty obvious strategy, Jay? I mean, if you can just find a way to protect that bottom at all costs, you should be able to hold on if you're Joey Logano.
It has to be protect the bottom. We've seen it happen so many times so far to where these drivers get off the bottom and they get immediately passed, especially if it happens when they do it down the back straightaway. So it has to be full-on protect the bottom. That's the only thing you really have to do at this point. Full-on IndyCar line if you have to, because that bottom is super important here. It's a one-lane track strictly. You have no chance on the outside lane unless you are just in that much of a stronger car and it's a slower car that you're going against for the lead. So if you're not on the bottom, you're basically saying that you're just going to hand the win away. So if I'm Joey Logano, I'm protecting that bottom all the way around this track.
Kevin Harvick back up into 2nd place. Can he run down Joey Logano now, as it seems like they're two all caught up in racing for 2nd place, that no one's even able to get to to Logano by the time you go side by side again. So just 5 laps to go, coming to 4. Now Elliott's going to look to the inside here. So everything is looking in Logano's favor. And by the way, if there is another caution, we have the ability to have a quote-unquote overtime finish here. Because we have added extra laps onto the race. In case of something like that happening, we might take this into consideration as well in the future for the regular season or regular races we do here on NR 2003. So stay tuned for that. We'll come up with a decision probably at a later date, but there they are side by side in the back here. But now it's single file with Chase Elliott at least, and now that's bringing him right into the mix. And I mean, Jay, he won the All-Star race last year, 2020 champion. Of course, he hasn't won in the NR 2003 series, but this would be a great way to finally get him kind of going, I think, and maybe get him on a bit of a winning streak here.
And we've actually seen him be just about as strong as Logano tonight. So if there's any other person who can beat Joey Logano, I think it's Chase Elliott. And he's showing that right now, too, by getting right to his bumper as soon as he got clear of these guys. It looked like for a moment there he was going to make a move, but I think he's probably just thinking better of it because he knows the smart time to make a move is coming off turn 4 on the last lap.
And out of turns 4, it will be 2 laps to go here in the All-Star races. To start lap 69 nice here as they go down into turns 1. Elliott, when does he make the move? He's not close enough to make a move just yet, but now he is just trying to inch closer and closer as they exit turns 2, following Logano's tracks everywhere, 3 wide in the background here with the 21 of Benedetto, Blaney, as well as Tyler Reddick, Bowman, Larson 3rd, and 4th Hendrick overall, just looking very strong right here as they come through out of turns 4. Logano leads the way to the final lap here at Texas Motor Speedway as they go down into turns 1. The caution command is on, so that definitely means now the final lap is official. Elliott right there out of turns 2. He might have a look right there. Is he close enough? I don't know. Down this back straightaway, Elliott's going to only have one chance at this, Jay, and it has to be in turns 3.
Chase Elliott has got to send it in here in turn 3, get to the inside of Joey Logano, and be able to pass him off at turn 4, but it does not seem like that's going to be able to happen. Seems like Joey Logano is going to be able to hold off Chase Elliott. He indeed is, and Joey Logano is your 2021 NR All-Star Race winner.
Logano with the $1 million win here at Texas Motor Speedway. Chase Elliott just didn't quite seem to have enough now as Bowman, Larson, and Tyler Reddick round out the top 5. Bubba Wallace rounds out the top 10 overall. And then you see, only 11 cars on the lead lap at the end of this All-Star race here. at Texas Motor Speedway. And we don't come back to this track until sometime later this year in like the fall for the playoffs. So we get a bit of a break. But Jay, honestly, I think we can both agree that was actually a pretty entertaining race to watch here from our perspective.
It was definitely entertaining. There was a lot of crashes, a lot of incidents, and so unfortunately not many green flag laps. But at Texas, the more caution laps, the better. Although in our version of Texas is pretty decent, and as you saw there with the racing tonight, when they were green, they were in a pack. They were being very aggressive to each other and making lots of moves happen. So overall, I thought it was a very decent All Star race. However, I think that the real life All Star race is going to be much different from this one.
Absolutely agree with that. I don't expect anywhere near the amount of chaos, if any chaos at all, in real life. But if you guys enjoyed, you know what to do. Pretty quick here today. We've had a lot of NR content this week with the SRX series. We had the All Star Open here earlier today, as well as just now, of course, with the All Star race. So if you guys enjoyed, you know what to do. We'd like to thank you all for taking the time out of your day to watch this episode and let us know if we should implement that potential overtime feature in the future for the actual season races. So we'll be on the lookout for that, and we will see you guys next week where we go to a brand new track on the schedule back for some points racing at Nashville Super Speedway. Excited for that, and we'll see you guys next week. Have a great day, everybody.